chance becomes a sort of providence, which, under the cover of atheism, is not named but which is secretly worshipped. These words belong to the famous zoologist Pierre-Paul Grasset, former president of the French Academy of Sciences and himself an evolutionist, and summarize how evolutionists adopt the concept of chance as their god. According to the theory of evolution, life was born entirely through natural causes and by chance, and developed at random. In other words, evolutionists regard chance as divine and claim that it is so rational, conscious, and powerful as to be able to create all the sensitive systems and living things in the universe. In their view, the universe we live in, furnished with countless delicate balances, millions of different species of living things, and their structures that possess exceedingly complex structures and features, all gradually came into being as the result of chance. The fact is, however, that today such scientific fields as biology, paleontology, genetics, biochemistry, and microbiology have proven that life could never in any way come into being by itself as the result of chance and natural conditions.
That is because just one single living cell is a great miracle of creation that is sufficient on its own to entirely invalidate the concept of chance. This superior creation in living things is one of the proofs that they were created by God, Lord of superior wisdom and infinite knowledge.
During the course of this film, we shall be seeing how the flawless balances in the universe and the miraculous structures in living things totally invalidate the idea of life having come into being by chance. We shall also witness how evolutionists have entered the blind alley of chance in order to avoid admitting the evident truth of the existence of God. Just think about the things you see from the moment you wake up in the morning. The mirror you look into every morning, the keys that open your car door, the traffic lights along the way, the billboards, cars.
Spend some time to consider, and it will no doubt occur to you that each of these things was produced for a special purpose.
No one would say that it was a matter of chance that everything was where it should be when you arose up in the morning.
That is because, with the exceedingly complex details they possess, every one of them is an example of special design.
What about the people you see walking along the street? Or the trees you pass by, the dog that runs out in front of you, the flowers, the sky above you? Could their existence be by chance, do you think? Everyone who thinks with their reason and conscience, without being swayed by any preconception, will immediately realize that living things and human beings cannot be the work of chance. They will understand that it is the omniscient and almighty God who creates all living things. In all ages, however, there have been people who failed to see this clear reality, or rather who saw it, but ignored it. These people sometimes emerge as professors, researchers, or paleontologists with long years of training behind them. They claim that trees, birds, clouds, houses, cars, You, yourself, others around you, in short, everything in the universe, animate and inanimate, is all the work of blind chance. In the same way that people all through history have so lost all rationality as to be able to regard totems and the statues they carved with their own hands as divine and think that statues made of mud could possess creative power, these people who regard chance as a divine entity are in exactly the same position. God refers to these people in the Quran thus: He to whom the kingdom of the heavens and the earth belongs. He does not have a son, and he has no partner in the kingdom. He created everything and determined it most exactly. But they have adopted gods apart from him, which do not create anything, but are themselves created. They have no power to harm or help themselves. They have no power over death, or life, or resurrection. According to evolutionists' totally imaginary claims, in the wake of the explosion known as the Big Bang, atoms in some way managed to create themselves in a very sensitive equilibrium. Some of the atoms that spread out at random came together by chance and formed the stars and planets in space, while others formed our Earth. Some of the atoms that formed our planet initially formed the soil on it, and later suddenly decided to form living things. These atoms first turned into cells with complex structures, and these then multiplied by dividing into two and began to speak and hear. Rather than simply combining to constitute a dark mass, atoms such as carbon, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and iron came together to form perfect brains of an extraordinary complexity, the secrets of which have not been fully fathomed even today. These brains began to see three-dimensional images of a quality far succeeding any technology today. These atoms then turned into university professors, studied themselves under electron microscopes, and claimed that they had come into being by chance. That, in essence, is the theory of evolution. Despite the illogical nature of these claims of chance, a great many people over the last 150 years, from scientists to professors, from doctors to researchers, have believed in this irrational and illogical theory. Let us now examine this claim by means of a very simple but easily comprehensible and convincing experiment in order to provide the necessary reply to evolutionists' imaginary scenario. Let anyone who believes in the creative power of chance events take a large barrel. Let them put into it however much material they believe is required to form a living thing. For example, let them include all the needed elements: carbon, phosphorus, calcium. Let them go even further and place amino acids and proteins, not one of which could possibly have come into being by chance, into this barrel. Then let them subject this mixture to all kinds of external influences. For example, heat or chill the barrel. Let it be struck by lightning, or apply electric current. Let them stir the substances they have placed into the barrel with whatever devices they choose, for as long as they choose, at whatever speed they choose. In addition, Let them stand guard on this barrel, transferring this responsibility from father to son for millions, even billions of years. Let them consult with others, meet with the world's foremost biologists, geneticists, physicists, and experts on evolution. The result will never be any different. Despite all this serious conscious effort, they'll never be able to produce anything like a living being in that barrel. No matter what they do, they'll never be able to produce the wide variety of birds, multicolored fish, rabbits, horses, or other animals from inside that barrel. Despite they're all growing in the same soil and being watered with the same water, they can never, ever produce fruits, which all taste so very different to one another. Let those atoms in that barrel perform any reactions they want. Never will they produce brilliant scientists like Einstein and Newton able to solve complex problems. Artists like Michelangelo and Picasso able to create masterpieces. Musicians like Beethoven and Mozart able to compose melodies to delight the human spirit. Discoverers, scientists able to examine under electron microscopes the molecules and atoms out of which they themselves are composed, or consider those able to design automobiles and write books, thinkers with faculties of logic and judgment, human beings able to retain in memory what they have learned, share longings, feel excitement and pleasure, who are possessed with a sense of love, mercy, and compassion, who enjoy the taste of food, and who can defend an idea. If so, if no living thing can ever be produced by human effort, and the whole pool of human knowledge, how can life be brought into being with the aid of unconscious atoms and chance events? All the positive sciences of the 20th century very clearly, definitively, and irrefutably proved that not a single living cell can be produced in the laboratory by bringing inanimate substances together, let alone by chance. If life exists, then it must have a creator. Even if billions of inanimate substances come together, they can never come alive by themselves or possess consciousness. It is God, with his superior intellect, infinite knowledge, and matchless power, who creates all these entities. Your Lord is God, who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then settled himself firmly on the throne. He covers the day with the night, each pursuing the other urgently, and the sun and the moon and stars are subservient to his command. Both creation and command belong to him. Blessed be God, the Lord of all the worlds.